G'day everyone, welcome back to another edition of Guvs Hero Review videos. Today we are going to be checking out another Season 2 hero. Specifically, we're going to take a look at the 5-star legendary purple heroine, Amethyst, the Portal Trooper Specialist. So Amethyst is available for summons, as we saw from the Neon City portal, which wraps around once every 4 weeks. The odds for this portal, they're not great. They come in at 1.6% combined total, of which 1% is split between the two featured heroes, and the remaining 0.6% chance is split between the 25 plus non-featured heroes. So to put that into perspective, if you were to do 100 summons in this portal, you would have a 63% chance that you'd get one of the two featured heroes, and a 45% chance that you'd get one of any one of the unfeatured heroes. So it might be Jackie, it might be Doodle, it might be Amethyst, whoever it is. So not the greatest chances overall. Amethyst herself was added to Puzzle Combat at the end of December 2023 as part of Small Giant Games' trickle feed approach to adding new heroes to older portals. So I'm going to flip over to my roster and her artwork. Sorry, I just got distracted by something. So this is her artwork. It does feature some of the standard aspects of the Portal Troopers now. So we got the portal itself, and we've got that somewhat signature helmet of the Portal Troops. But otherwise, there's not really anything that's too distinguishing about her artwork. Definitely nothing that really ties back to the Portal Trooper Specialist title that she's got. But yeah, pause it if you wish to. Back to the portal, and we can take a look at her family. So Amethyst is a member of the Vigilante family, which will grant her a plus 15, 20, 25, or 30% chance to give a 16% dodge buff to all allies when she casts her special skill, if there are 2, 3, 4, or 5 unique members of the Vigilante family in the battle. Vigilante family members also gain a plus 3, 6, 9, or 12% attack bonus when there are the same multiple unique family members. So a little bit in that, but basically if you've got 2 Vigilante family members, there is a 15% chance that whenever either of them cast their special skill, they're going to give a 16% dodge buff to all allies. Alright, they do have to be unique heroes, so it can't be 2 copies of Amethyst. It's got to be 2 different heroes, like Amethyst and Dragon Fist, or Amethyst and Thunderclap as an example. In terms of her personal stats, Amethyst comes in with 730 attack, 777 defense, and 1544 HP. So awful lot of 7s in there, but there's a little bit of skewing towards defense and HP, but only slight. It's not massive. Probably not even noticeable in the scheme of things. Her charge speed is set to 68, which is fast. This requires only 8 tiles to charge, or 4 ghosted tiles. The speed break to get it down to 7 tiles needs plus 4, so you can do that using either of the purple speed guns available in game. So you've got the plus 6 Perlascale Convex, or the plus 9 Explosion B90. A double speed break is a little bit more complicated because you can't get it with weapons alone. It does need a plus 11 speed improvement, which, as we know, the best weapon is the plus 9 Explosion B90. You can, however, get there if you combine the 4% class emblem speed node at level 20 emblems with the plus 9 Explosion B90. Note, you've got to have both of them, otherwise you don't get that double speed break down to 6 tiles. So it is a lot of emblems, 1500 to be precise, but you know, double speed break down to 6 tiles is pretty hectic, so might be worth it for you. In terms of a specific emblem path, so this is what I did on my Amethyst. So I went with an attack and defense route. So at each intersection, I chose the route that had attack, and when there were 2 intersections with attack, I went the side that's got defense. So you can see I've picked up attack and defense the whole way down, and I have actually continued down to the 19 and 20 nodes. And that's because for me, I don't have a glut of support emblems, but I use Amethyst a lot, both in attack and on my defense team. So for me, that 4% speed, getting it down to just 3 ghosted tiles to double charge is pretty great. I'm not going to lie. So for me, it was worthwhile. Generally speaking though, I don't tend to recommend going to plus 20 because it is a lot of emblems, but in this instance, I thought that Amethyst was worth it. Heading back over to the portal, and we'll do some more scrolling and we can discuss her special skill. So her special skill is titled Precision, there it is, Holographic Strike. And at level 10 skill and 68 charge speed, it will deal 366% damage to the target, with minor damage being dealt to nearby enemies. It will deal an additional 154% damage if the caster has stealth active at the time of casting, and it will grant the caster stealth and a plus 28% dodge bonus for 3 turns, as well as a 64% attack buff for 3 turns. So before we dive any deeper into this, I do want to explain the phrase minor damage, which is 50% of the listed percentage in the skill, or half the percentage. So in the case of Amethyst, she will deal 366% damage to the target and 183% damage to nearby enemies, half the percentage. Because of how the damage calculation actually works out, this comes out to being roughly a 42% damage dealt compared to the target enemy. So because of this drop off in damage, I tend to consider minor damage or splash damage heroes predominantly as snipers, because that's where the bulk of their damage goes, and it's kind of just like a nice little bonus, the damage to nearby enemies as well. So with that in mind, let's have a look at this damage aspect of her skill. So damage itself is hard to consistently calculate because of the factors and the RNG that goes into the calculation. However, attack power is actually one of the factors that feeds into the damage calculation and is translatable to more damage output. So attack power is just their attack stat multiplied by the percentage of their special skill, then divide that by the number of tiles to charge, and that normalizes it for different speeds. So in the case of Amethyst, she comes in with an attack power per tile of 334, which is 5th of the available purple snipers in the game. There are a number of conditional or situational damages that are higher than her, but of the actual base damage dealers, you've only got Cruise, Sure Shot variant, Flak with no charge, and Mallet that are higher than Amethyst. So pretty good damage dealer, realistically. 5th of 17 is nothing to sneeze at, particularly when she's actually not that far behind the number 4 and the number 3 ranked heroes. Where Amethyst actually gets really interesting though is on that repeat strike condition. So that 154 additional damage when she hits an enemy while she has the stealth effect. Because not only is it gaining 154% additional damage, she's also still under the influence of the 64% attack buff as well. So stealth is 3 turns, the attack buff is also 3 turns. When you factor both of those things in, Amethyst's base attack stat ratchets up to 1,197, and her attack power per tile goes to a huge 778 attack power per tile. If she was double charge broken, it comes out at 1,037 attack power per tile. Massive. It is a massive attack improvement that she gets on a repeat cast. Like, huge. It's insane. And I do need to move on from the damage component because there are other parts of her special skill. So the next component of her skill is the self-application of dodge and stealth to herself for 3 turns. So this combination of effects, it is very powerful, very, very powerful. So the stealth, basically this stops her from being targeted by special skills and any effects with them, which is extremely good against random hitters, AoE hitters, dispellers, anything like that, and any situation where there's not actually any input to the targeting. So things like support attacks, things like when the defending AI computer makes their skill attacks, when you just go out and just mash all of your special skills in rapid succession without tapping a target. All of those times, the AI will include Amethyst, even when she's under the stealth effect, in the targeting, and she just comes up with immune. The dodge effect, I don't think it needs too much explanation. 28% is on the upper end of the spectrum. It is higher than what you'd typically get. Normally it's something like 16% kind of thing, so 28% is quite good. And yeah, the combination of these two effects is very, very powerful. It effectively grants her complete immunity from special skills for 3 turns, as well as giving her an overall general survival improvement from the dodge effect. The only thing to note is that the two effects are actually tied up in one buff, so if you do lose one, you lose both. But really, the only way that these effects can be removed is via the Demolition's talent, because the stealth effect makes her immune to literally all special skill effects, including dispels. Yeah. The final part of her skill is the self-application of a 64% attack buff. I don't need to say too much here. It is percentage based, which is great. It will scale with future levels, emblems, weapons, power creep, whatever. It does continue to scale up. 64% is also the highest base attack buff in the game. It can be beaten by the Berserk style buffs on ones like Sapphire, Magma, or Clara, but as a base attack buff, 64% is the best you can get. And we saw how much of an improvement it put onto her attack output just before. So overall, Amethyst is an extremely good hero. Right, her base damage output is up there amongst the best purple snipers, but when you factor in that repeat cast within 3 turns, her damage actually ramps up to insane levels, and it is extremely achievable with a double speed break down to 6 tiles, because that is just a ghosted match 3. It's 3 tiles in a ghosted lane, and she's charged again, and you can just absolutely wail on an enemy. All of her secondary effects also synergize really well back to enhancing her primary damage effect, which is somewhat rare. Often there's secondary effects that they're kind of like just there and they don't make a huge amount of sense to the primary effect. But in Amethyst's case, all 3 of the dot points after the primary damage work towards enhancing that primary damage output. So very, very good hero. Her damage is effectively doubled under the enhanced conditions, which makes the minor damage to nearby enemies actually up there with some of the better purple DOA 3 hitters, right? Like the minor damage comes out suddenly under repeat casts at between 400 and 500 damage. Like it's actually insane. And the primary damage goes from 450 up to like 950, 1,000 damage. So very, very, very good hitter. And because of that, I'm going to give Amethyst grading. I'm going to give her an A grade for war and raid attack situations. Very, very versatile attacker. I've had her carry entire war fights just on her own. Raiding, it's been like Amethyst versus 5 enemies, and she's just gone bang, 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 bang. Soloed the fight. For War Machines, I do have to drop her off a little bit. Her damage output is still very decent, but there's nothing that really lends towards War Machine fights beyond like the tile damage and the stealth / dodge buff, leading to better survival in those situations. So eventing, B grade as well. She's got decent DOA damage on repeat casting, but not much more towards events. For war and raid defenses, I'm going to give her an A grade. I do think that she is very capable at either flank or wing, and you can pick and choose which position based on what your other heroes are and where they're better suited on a defense team. In the tournament formats, in Bloody Battle, I'm going to give her an A grade on attack and an A grade on defense. Buff Booster, I'm going to give her an A grade again on attack and an A grade on defense. She does give herself 2 buffs, so an extra 40% to add on to the 64% attack bonus she gives herself. And then in charged attacks, she does actually drop off her speed. She goes from 68 down to 65, which means she's no longer able to get that double break down to 6 tiles. So because of that, I'm going to knock her down to a B+ for attack and a B+ for defense. So overall, that comes in at an A- for Amethyst's attack grade and an A for her defense grade. And that concludes the content that I have for this review of Amethyst. As always, these are just my personal thoughts and opinions on these heroes. I do love hearing your feedback and your thoughts on them. So please do jump down to the comments section and drop me a note. I love reading them and I do try to reply to as much as I can. If you did enjoy the video and found it to be useful, like the video, subscribe to the channel. There's heaps more stuff like this around. But most importantly, share the video around, because chances are if it was useful for you, it's going to be useful to other people you play with as well. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining me and tuning in for this review. I do hope that I will see you again soon, but until then, good luck, stay safe, and happy gaming. Cheers, bye!